This is Phil Lamar, and you are listening to the GeekCast Radio Network.
Welcome to The Pull Bag. Join us as we dig out our latest comics and discuss them with a rotating panel of the GCRN crew. So sit back and enjoy this week's Pull Bag.
Alright folks, it's the month of February and it's the end of the month here on Profiling Previews Inside the Pull Bag. I'm your host, TFG1 Mike. Joining me this time around, same gang, JT from Saskatoon on Marvel, Beatles Diva on IDW, Weird Science Guys Jim and Eric on DC, and Jeremy Fein on Image Comics. This month we tried to make it a little bit shorter. It didn't quite happen, folks. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. This is something new for me that I'm doing, so I'm trying to keep it fairly short. Again, as I said at the beginning of the January episode, please comment on the post and let me know your ideas of firming this up a bit. I'm trying to give the listeners and the fans of the Pull Bag stuff that I want to read, stuff that the other hosts think you guys should read for comics. So please send us feedback and let us know how we can improve these episodes. For now, though, it's time for IDW, DC, Image, and Marvel. Once again, here is Profiling Previews, February 2015.
This is getting expensive.
We are back, folks, with February's IDW Publishing Solicitations, February 2015. Joining me once again is the Hailstorm herself. Hello.
Hi. Bonjour. Hola.
How are you?
I'm good.
And we promise, folks, our segment here for IDW will not be 30 minutes like it was last time.
It will either be longer or shorter.
Preferably the latter.
It depends on what kind of rage or rant or fangirl moment I get on. So.
Oh boy. Alright, so these are all things that are supposed to be released from IDW in February. Some of them might be advanced solicitations, but most of them are coming out in February. First one I want to just briefly mention, everybody, is The Rocketeer, The Complete Adventures. Yes, that's right. Written in art and color, all by Dave Stevens. Cliff Secord is a down-on-his-luck pilot and is always looking for ways to make a fast buck. Discovering a stolen rocket pack could be the one thing that will turn his fortunes around. But will it? What follows are government agents, German spies, deception, danger, and adventure. This is the world of The Rocketeer, all of Dave Stevens' original comics collected in one book.
Oh, wow. This is the original stuff. Cool.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Trade paperback, full color, $20, 148 pages.
This is going to be awesome.
Collected at softcover for the very first time.
Oh, wait. To the Amazon copy. I've got to get this. Because this is beautiful. The original Rocketeer was awesome. And of course, I love the movie. Still love the movie. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. That's not that bad a price. Okay.
The funny thing is, a buddy of mine, Doug Abel, who does the podcast talking about my generation, I do that. It's his show, but I do it with him. Uh-huh. We had done a review on Rocketeer when it hit Netflix last year, and we were talking about these comics in context of the movie, and at that time there was nothing really like a full collection, so it's kind of nice that that IDW is putting this out. This is going to be a really, really big thing for people that love the original Rocketeer and the movie.
Well, because the trade paperback on Amazon is really, really affordable. You're talking about 8 issues, and it's less than $16 right now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What's the release date on Amazon?
It's saying March 10th. It's not February, it's March.
Well, it was in the February solicits.
Oh, that's okay. We're still going to talk about it. You can't get the hardcover. It's temporarily out of stock, but you can probably get the hardcover if you want them.
Right.
Oh.
Right. Yeah, no, this looks absolutely awesome.
Oh, this is cool. Why didn't I know about this before? Original Rocketeer is awesome, people.
Absolutely is. So, also coming in February, Dave, number 1 of 5. This is a spotlight written by Ryan Ferrier, art by Valentin Ramon.
Valentine Ramon. What a romantic name. My gosh.
Colors by Fiona Staples. Primetime TV, mortgages, traffic jams, the robots conquered Earth, wiping out all life in the galaxy, but nothing changed. Meet D4VE, the greatest robot war hero now trapped behind a desk at a soul-sucking day job. Can something somewhere snap him out of his slump? This is D4VE's midlife crisis. Okay, see, I originally read this as Dave, not D4VE. Wow,
it is. It's Dave. It's robot, but
yeah.
Can you see why I want to read? I'm a sucker for robots, and he has a soul sucking day job. I'm like, I can relate to this guy.
I don't. Okay, I made a joke about another podcasting friend of ours last month in the January podcast, and I'm going to make another one about him here because it really sounds like this could happen to Mikey. I don't know the man personally at all whatsoever. I just know from hearing him on the underbase, but yeah.
Mikey is a beautiful human being. He's just he's Irish. He's kind of ornery, you know. I love the Irish. They're insane. And I love Mikey even more.
So this new Spotlight series from IDW will have subscription covers. It will be $3.99 an issue. It is featuring cover by saga artist Fiona Staples. D4VE is a masterclass in robotic midlife crisis and is ripe with laughs. So says Bloody Disgusting. Another quote from... Let's see here. The AV Club, both Ferrier and Ramon are relative newcomers to the industry, but their outstanding work on D4VE makes them 2 creators to keep an eye on in the future.
I'm excited for this. I cannot wait to read this.
Mm-hmm.
The solicitation that's been going on has got me intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like something that the pullback might have to review because it does sound very, very interesting.
I mean,
and thankfully there are no zombies.
There looks like some crazy creatures going to be in it, though.
Yeah, crazy creatures. Yeah. For those of you trying to catch up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 10, New Mutant Order is coming out in February. This collects issues 37 to 40. It's $17.99. Let's see here.
Like that is 4 issues. Okay, that's only 3 issues.
Yeah. This is the one where Shredder and Krang finally meet up, but will they be able to overcome their differences and join forces? Meanwhile, Old Hob has perfected the art of making mutants. With the ranks of his mutant gang swelling, the Turtles will have to determine if they can truly trust Hob against the Foot.
Oh.
See? You're missing a whole
lot. I am. I know I'm missing out. I'm like, wait. Oh. Spoiler for me. It's my
and they're also, because Hob has built his army, and I've talked about this with my buddy Joe Reed on the show before because we've already done the solicitations for what I'm going to talk about here in a minute, but also, folks, check out... Oh my god, I can't believe that's this month already. Holy crap, February's just flying by. And it's only, wow. In February here, they're going to be releasing their next Spotlight miniseries for Turtles. It's TMNT Mutanimals, and this is basically Old Hob / Herman the Hermit Crab, Mondo Gecko, and Pigeon Pete. They have become a force to be reckoned with. So it's basically taking Old Hob and his mutant gang and putting them into their own little mini-series adventure.
This is going to be so much fun. Oh
It
my
really,
gosh.
really is.
Oh god. This is gonna be awesome.
Yep. And we have the next one. We're going to go to the giant robots this time. We have Angry Birds Transformers number 4 of 4. Captain Continuity himself, Barber, and Marcelo Ferreira on art and colors. The action heats up as the egg spark begins to alter the fundamental forces of Piggy Island itself. With the Autobots and Deceptihogs forming an uneasy alliance, will their combined might be enough to halt the inevitable doom? Find out in the thrilling conclusion to this year's most mind-bending mashup.
I gotta agree with that. I mean, when they first announced Angry Birds Transformers, people were like, "Are you serious?" And it's been amazing, people. I'm sorry.
I'm surprised it's only going to be 4 issues.
You know what? If it's successful, I wouldn't be surprised if they continue it down the line.
Yeah.
I know John's having fun with it, so.
Oh, absolutely. And see, that was the biggest thing. When this was announced, everyone was like, oh no. It really was. It was a dividing line from people that I had talked to online, where some of them were like me and you, were like, oh yeah, that's going to be so cool. That's, it's going to be all in. And then people are like, wow, this is chocolate and peanut butter all over again. Get your Angry Birds out of my Transformers, or get your Transformers out of my Angry Birds. And I'm telling you, people, listen to us. This was a fun 4 issues.
Like I said, people, if you want to get your serious stuff when it comes to Transformers, you got 2 series. You got More Than Meets the Eye and the Transformers main series. Robots in Disguise. I'm still going to call it that. I'm sorry. They take other serious issues. This is just like, I'll caution to the wind. Let's just have fun. And it's just, okay. When was it? December issue, when Megatron pulled out a phone out of his chest. Like an old-fashioned gigantic phone. I was like, oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. Oh, I love it. And John Barber knows how to make fun of the movieverse. Really. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys hated the movies, you'll like this comic because he makes fun of the movieverse.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of those things where I said, look, to all those people that were like I already said, get your Angry Birds out of my Transformers, get your Transformers out of my Angry Birds. I said, no, look, this is Barber being able to let loose. This is Barber not having to be tied down to any one, even though, let's face it, this is basically classic G1 continuity with the G1 Transformers, but it's him being able to throw in the jokes when he wants to, or just having these Angry Birds looking like Transformers characters and then spewing out like the whole thing with Optimus Prime. I think it is issue 2 where he says the one shall stand, one shall fall, or he says one of the classic lines, and it's amazing seeing it come out of an Angry Bird like character.
Well, and the Decepticon interrupts. It's like, oh, please, God, get it over with.
Give it a rest. Yeah,
give it a rest, Optimus. You're just like, yes, love it.
Absolutely. All right, folks. The next one we're not going to spend too much time on because it's not something we're going to pick up, but we want to just mention it just because it might be something everyone else might be interested in. IDW is starting Garbage Pail Kids Love Stinks.
Great for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, pretty much. We have Peter Bagay, Dean Haspel, Mark Pignator, and Joe Semenko, and various other writers and artists. In December, the Garbage Pail Kids were dragged kicking and screaming into the world of comic books. Now, those miscreants are right where you'd expect to find them, in love. That can't be right, you say? Well, if loving GPK is wrong, we don't want to be right. So join the kids as they celebrate Valentine's Day the only way they know how. The exchange of bodily fluids and solids.
That is disgusting.
That is so disgusting.
Horrible. Okay, that's a great line for a solicitation, but that sounds so wrong. So wrong.
It's almost as bad as the DC line. You think you know Nightwing, but you don't know Dick.
Oh.
All right, folks. Let's head to Ponyville with My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic number 28. Katie Cook and Andy Price on writing and art. The Root of the Problem, Part 2. Twilight and friends journey to the heart of Everfree Forest to find out what has been causing its inhabitants to flee. What they find can only mean trouble for Ponyville.
Okay, now that you've seen the picture, you get the cliche, right?
Yes, I get the cliche.
Okay, because the root of the problem.
Yes.
The Timberwolves are made of timber. Actual wood.
No, I got the joke.
I know. I'm telling our
Okay.
listeners. I'm like, so I think that's just hilarious. My gosh, I love ponies. They were in the Super Bowl ads, you know.
Oh Lord. And then we have Friends Forever number 14, written by Jeremy Whitley and art is by Agnes Garbowska again. When a dragon problem in Philadelphia threatens to get out of hand, Luna enlists Spike's help to find a peaceful solution. There are many suspects, and it's no easy answers, as both Spike and Luna must admit to a personal shortcoming in order to find the true culprits.
See, that's another good little team up that hasn't happened yet. I love it. This is why I love this series. You're just like, well, what do those two have to do with each other? Luna's a princess, and basically Spike's a servant, but to Twilight. So it's just like, okay. So this will be an interesting little team up. I'm excited for it.
Yep. And we have something else here for ponies. We have My Little Pony: Adventures in Friendship, Volume 2, hardcover. Ted Anderson, Bobby Curnow, Alex DeCampi are on the writing team. Ben Bates, Brenda Hickey, Carla Speed, McNeil are on art, and Sarah Richardson's on covers. The adventures continue with these tales of fun and friends, featuring one-shots about Pinkie Pie and Applejack, plus a third story of the two friends entering a baking contest. This should be right up your alley.
It's ponies, of course it is.
Well, not that it's just ponies, but it's Pinkie Pie and Applejack. Those two characters don't seem to really sound like they would get along that well.
Pinkie Pie gets along with everyone. That's why she's Pinkie Pie.
Right. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Pinkie Pie is awesome. She's the party pony, and she wants to be everyone's friend. Applejack's a hard worker.
All right, folks, it's time to leave Ponyville and enter the world of G.I. Joe. We're going to be talking about G.I. Joe Volume 1, The Fall of G.I. Joe. Karen Travis is on the writing. Steve Kurth is on art. Jeffrey Verreg. Okay, then. Verrege? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you have to have a hard day to be a comic book artist.
I guess. I don't know. Does the world need G.I. Joe? Cobra has become an international peacekeeping force, and the future of G.I. Joe looks bleak. Scarlet leads what's left of America's ultimate fighting force, but will she be able to keep the team together? Real-world action and politics collide, and nothing will be the same.
This is one of those volumes where if you haven't read Joe for a while, here's your chance to get on board, because this, if I remember right, this is what takes place after the new Cobra Commander.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Yes, people. I'm sorry. Your Cobra Commander that you grew up with is not the same one. He died. Spoiler. That was an awesome issue, though. That was amazing.
Interesting. Yeah, no, for Joe fans wanting to catch up on the new series, this would be a perfect time.
Yes.
We also have G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, Agent of Cobra number 2 of 5. Snake Eyes begins his mission for Cobra, tracking down the former Cobra Commander's son and bringing him in, but Snake Eyes is not the only Cobra agent on the hunt. as Storm Shadow enters the fray looking for revenge.
Okay, Storm Shadow.
Okay, so wait a minute, folks. You mean to tell me that they're just doing this miniseries or whatever it's going to be just to have another Snake Eyes Storm Shadow battle?
Probably. Or they're going to team them up.
Wow. That just doesn't seem like it
Because
would
we
work.
all know there's no other G.I. Joe besides Snake Eyes.
Alright, folks.
I love G.I. Joe stories. Snake Eyes is totally cliche, though. I'm sorry. Storm Shadow, on the other hand, I love him.
Uh-huh.
It just reminds me of that little. I don't know if you've seen that little comic strip. It's Cobra Commander talking to Snake Eyes, and he's like, "Wait, you wear all black, and your name is Snake Eyes. How come you don't work for me?" I love that little comic. It's so cute.
Yeah. All right, folks. Heading back to the giant robots, we go to what? Robots. Yes. We go to Transformers, the book formerly known as Robots in Disguise. Days of Deception. Barber and Griffith are on creative. The Onyx interface. The Autobots and Decepticons face down human forces, and strange battle lines make for strange allies. Who will emerge with the ancient enigma of combination, and who will usher in the Combiner War? And so part of the notes on under the subscription variant, it says all out war in the wilderness. I'm like, well, really? They're actually going to go out into the wilderness now? This is the last time I remember them being in the wilderness is when Ironhide had to go save the Dinobots. Oh,
Anything
boy.
with Ironhide's awesome.
True. Let's see. Transformers More Than Meets the Eye, number 38. More Days of Deception. Journey's End. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Why does it say Journey's End on the More Than Meets the Eye book when isn't Thundercracker over on Robots in Disguise?
He is.
Yeah. Oh, Journey's End, Journeyer, whatever. Stupid character name. Across time, across space, from pre-war Mezzotine to post-war Cybertron. It's all been heading towards this, the moment when fate of the Autobots and Decepticons is sealed. At the heart of it all, 3 killers, 2 outcomes, and 1 terrible, terrible choice. For a minute there, I thought they were going to make a Partridge in a Pear Tree joke.
I love that. I love both of these covers, let me just tell you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They look amazing.
Brainstorm being a douchebag lately. Looks like he's getting what's coming to him. And then, of course, one of my favorites, we got Nick Roche somehow having Rodimus being beat up again.
Oh, God, here we go.
He's like punching out Rewind, but it looks like Whirl's going to just... Like I said, I love Rodimus, but for some reason it just gives me great thrill when he's getting beat up. I don't know why. Just... Okay, I'm sorry. Next.
You are just so sadistic when it comes to Rodimus.
I love Rodimus, though. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Sure you do. All right, we have the Primacy trade paperback coming out by Chris Metzen and Flint Dilley, with Livio Remendelli on art and color. Optimus Prime versus Megatron, Autobots versus Decepticons. At the dawn of the conflict, battle lines are drawn and sides are set. Now legends will be made. The war that would define a planet begins in earnest, and its revelations will shake the Transformers world to the core. I have not read Primacy yet because I have not read Autocracy and Monstrosity yet.
Oh my goodness.
So, you want to talk about somebody who's behind on comics? Yeah.
Primacy.
Go ahead.
I don't want to spoil it, but the first 3 issues were really good. That last one was like, Yeah. Yeah, it's not the ending I wanted, and apparently not the ending many people wanted. But yeah, the artwork's gorgeous. There's some really good stuff in there. Yeah, there's a great way to use a junkie on ship. I'll admit that was amazing. But yeah, that's all I can say because I don't want to spoil it if you guys aren't ready yet.
So the second to last title we're going to be talking about this time around is Galaxy Quest: The Journey Continues, number 2 of 4. Burnham.
Oh, we got more to talk about.
That's what I said. The second to last.
Oh, okay. All right.
Take your blonde wig off, please.
I'm still thinking about Transformers. That's what happens, you know. I'm thinking about robots.
The cast of the Galaxy Quest have enjoyed their career resurgence since returning from their intergalactic adventure, but all that is about to be interrupted by Quint, an alien with a very surprising axe to grind against Jason Nesmith and the crew of the NC Protector. As we already knew, picked up where the movie left off. And it just the other note is that it's by Eric Burnham, who did Ghostbusters and TMNT for a couple issues as well. The Galaxy Quest stuff is interesting. I might be picking this series up, and it's only 5 issues, so.
But if it does well, they'll on IDW they'll pick it up again. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last one we have to talk about, since everybody apparently except me loves zombies and robots. But Zombies and Robots number 2.
Oh, that's not what I was talking about.
Well,
I'll bring up.
Oh, yeah, okay. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
What? I forgot about that one.
That's why you have me on here, so you don't forget about important things like what we're going to talk about. Yeah.
Inherit the Earth, Part 2. Even on a dead, nuked Earth, the zombies remain, but how? And both the dead and some of the bots seem to have gained sentience. But why? Also, new humans join the fight? But who? Some answers and more questions are presented here. And in The Orphan, Part 2, a new friendship is threatened by, of course, hordes of zombies and one very disturbed robot. Man, that series sounds better than what I thought it was last month.
It is.
Alright, up next we have Lock and Key, Master Edition Volume 1, written by Joe Hill, art and colors and covers by Gabriel Rodriguez. Named a modern masterpiece by the AV Club, the critically acclaimed series takes on new life in reformed hardcover collection. The Lock and Key Master Edition Volume 1 features the first 2 arcs, Welcome to Lovecraft and Head Games, with all new cover art and design by co-creator Gabriel Rodriguez. Okay, why did you want to talk about this one?
Okay, Lock and Key is probably one of the best suspense. It's not really horror. There's a little bit of horror stuff in there, but it's one of those ones that after you read each comic, it gets you thinking, and it gets you talking about things that you thought you never would really talk about, supernatural stuff, mystic stuff. Go read it. But that's still not the one I really, really wanted to talk about.
The last one we're going to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, she's giggling like a schoolgirl over here. Awesome. Is Monster Motors, the curse... I can't even get the title out. Monster Motors, The Curse of Minivan Helsing, number 1 of 2.
So excited for this.
Written by Brian Lynch and Amy's third husband, Nick Roche, is on art and colors.
The thing
I'm
is,
sorry.
Nick Roche does the art and colors, and I swear he drew himself as Frankenstein. Because he looks just I'm not kidding.
Okay, so apparently Transylvania, Kentucky. What the hell?
See, that's in your part of the world.
Yeah, I don't even want to know now. It's being overrun by monster motors, vampire cars that suck gas from their victims.
I'm not kidding.
Lunar-powered werewolf vehicles that grow fangs and claws when the moon is full. Someone has to keep them all in check. Enter Minivan Helsing, four-wheeled monster hunter. It's his job to hunt down the monster motors and bring them to justice. His new target, genius mechanic Vic Frankenstein, and his Frankenride, a monstrous Mack truck made from the parts of fallen cars and trucks.
If you have not read this one shot, it came out August of last year, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
It's brilliant. It's so much fun, especially if you like the classic Universal monsters and stuff. Okay, so the bad guy in that one is Cadlacula.
Oh my
a vampiric God. Cadillac. That's. And then they've got the invisible sedan. So they don't know what it looks like. Or no, minivan Helsing. What was the other ones? Oh my gosh, Laguna Buggy. Yeah. So
wow.
And then it's a work of genius, and it's so much fun because it has that great adventure. It has that monster feeling to it, and so they didn't think it was going to do that well. So it was just a one shot. Right. But that's one of those comics that people kept on talking about and they absolutely loved. It's getting another series. It's getting a little spotlight now. It was just supposed to be a one shot, but now it's getting a little mini spotlight. I'm like, yay! Go and read it, people. It's awesome. I think you can get it on Kindle for $2. If you got your Kindle.
Yeah, I just added it to my Comixology wish list. It is listed at $2.99. I think is what it's listed at.
Oh my gosh, it's.
Yeah, it's $2.99.
So much fun. And I'm hoping with Comixology, they have the actual little specials at the end. It talks about all the different monster cars and stuff. It's so much fun. Oh wait, I've got it on my Kindle. Speaking of which, so let me go and see what the other cars are real quick. Okay, Minivan Helsing, Will Wolf. Okay, Laguna Buggy, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hybrid, the Invisible Stan, Frankenride, yeah, Cadlacula. It's it's just so much fun, people. It's like I said, I got it for my Kindle and I've got the paper back. And the artwork, it's Nick Roach. What more do you want? Go for it. It's beautiful. You know.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for the February IDW solicits. Coming up next.
I apologize.
Coming up next, we're going to make Marvel hours for Marvel's February solicits. We'll be back after this.
Come here. I'm the best there is at what I do. And what I do can't be imitated, copied, cloned, or used without the express written permission of the Superhero Squad and Marvel Entertainment, LLC. Batteries not included. All rights reserved. Terms, conditions, restrictions apply. We clear, bub.
Yes, sir. Well, folks, you won't be hearing from Marvel. That'll be at the end of the podcast. I misspoke when we recorded the IDW section of the February Solicitations here in Profiling Previews. Up next is DC.
That's not helping.
All right, folks, you just heard the IDW solicitations. Now it's time for the DC Comics solicitations. Joining me once again for February 2015 in this Profiling Previews episodes is the Weird Science of DC guys, Jim and Eric. Hello, guys.
Hello.
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 Let's get a little sexy here. Yeah.
And sexy all right, way to bring the podcast down.
That's what we do.
Yeah. All right, folks. As we did with last month, Jim and Eric have each picked three solicitations that they want to point out to you, and I've also picked my own three. On Eric's list, we have the New 52 Future's End number 40, written by Brian Azzarello, Jeff Lemire, Dan Jurgens, and Keith Giffen. Oh, so that's where Giffen went.
Yeah,
He'll be on there later on, too.
Art by Stephen Thompson. Cover by Ryan Sook. It is a $2.99 book. All stories converge as Brainiac and the Blood Moon arrive at the future's end. I stopped reading this title at issue 4.
Wow.
4, 5, something like that.
I stopped at 6.
The reason why I stopped reading this title was because they were too busy introducing other characters and not focusing on Batman Beyond and the robot Alfred. I want a series, oh my god, if that new Batman Beyond series that they announced...
that's what I figure this will be, honestly.
Man, I hope.
Yeah.
If that's the case, because that was one of the coolest things I was really interested with Future's End. I wanted to know, more about that, and then it went into all the other characters. Eric, why should people pick up number 40?
Because, like you're talking about, a lot of people dropped off of this book, like Earth 2 World's End, because things haven't been that good. And for this title, it's been really boring. Nothing's really been going on. It's just been issue after issue of setup, and each issue you think that things are going to finally happen, and then you read it and nothing fucking happens again. This one is the difference, though, because things actually happen. Brainiac has come to Earth, and everything, all the other, like they said in the solicits, all the stories converge to deal with this problem. Brainiac coming to Earth trying to take Manhattan. And it just makes me so happy that things are happening. I'm so happy.
Oh, man. That's so hilarious. All right. Yeah. Go check out Future's End number 40, folks. Also on Eric's list for February solicits, we have Constantine number 22, written by Ray Fox, art by Jeremy Hahn, cover by Juan Ferreira. This is a $2.99 book. The stakes have never been higher for John Constantine, and his plan to escape Earth 2 puts the fate of an entire universe at risk.
Way to mix it up, Eric. Another Constantine.
Look, like I said last month, this is good. I'm telling you, the Earth 2 Constantine writing is the strongest the writing's ever been for this series. And and it only has another month to go before it's canceled for 3 months and then brought back with, a renumbered and a retitle. And I think people should really read this, especially if you're an Earth 2 fan, because it's solid writing, solid art by Jeremy Hahn.
And he cut out.
Crap.
I cut out?
Yeah, just for a second.
What's the last thing I said? I said I loved it.
Yeah, okay, so basically what Eric is saying, folks, is solid art, solid writing, solid everything. There's no liquid here.
No, it's all solid. Constantine's doing Eric a solid.
I've been having a fight with Jeremy Hahn, though, because I think Constantine needs to trim his sideburns up a bit, but he's not listening.
Oh, Lord.
That's the big issue he has with all the book. It's the sideburns.
I don't like them sideburns. Trim them up.
Trim them. Mattingly.
Wow. It's crazy when someone has to pull a Don Mattingly reference out of there.
Right there.
Lord.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Eric's final choice for February is Batman and Robin number 39. Peter J. Tomasi on writing, art and cover by Patrick Gleason and Mick Gray. We have a Harley Quinn variant as well for this issue. Has Damian Wayne become something more than human? And how do you control a reckless child who now has superpowers? Ugh, Damian Wayne. Worst Robin ever.
Oh, no.
Yes.
It is such a great dynamic having the son of Batman be Robin. And the whole thing where he's been dead for a while now and just brought back and trying to build up that whole dynamic that Bruce and him had is a lot of fun to read. And now he has superpowers.
What could be better?
So, do the superpowers make him even more of an asshole than he already was?
It kind of just adds to the regular asshole.
I think they make him a little more of an asshole. I'll just go in. It's not even the Batman and Robin book to me is not all about Damian. What I like is the dynamic of Batman trying to be a father. That I really like. Even if you hate Damian, I really enjoyed Batman trying to figure out that whole dynamic, and he's not very good at it. So it's a pretty cool thing, I think. But I love Damian too. He is an asshole, but then again, I kind of tend to like those type of characters. So
wait a second. Bruce has had Dick Grayson.
Yep.
He's had Jason Todd. He's had Carrie Kelly. He's had all these other.
No, that's an
well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He's had all these other Robins before they actually gave him his own son.
Yeah, but he didn't care about them. They were adopted.
Oh,
you know how it is.
Oh my God!
Nobody really loves adopted children. That's what we're saying.
That's the point of the podcast. Adopted children are awful.
Okay, moving on to Jim's choices. Harley Quinn Valentine's Day Special #1, written by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti. Art by John Timms. Cover by Amanda Connor. Variant cover by also Amanda Connor. This one is a $4.99 book. Love is in the air in New York City. The planet's richest bachelor, Bruce Wayne, is in town for a charity auction, and the highest bidder gets a date with Mr. Tall, Dark, and Brooding. Good thing Harley Quinn just came into some money. Please, whatever you do, don't ask how. But can Bruce really spend the night with Harley without her learning how he spends his nights? I have not been reading the Harley Quinn series. I think I read the issue 0, and the issue 0 was just because it was a celebration of every single artist ever that ever had anything to do with the character.
That was a very weird issue.
It was a very weird issue. And then DC went ahead and basically gave everybody drugs in issue 13 or whatever the hell that issue was. I forget what issue number it was.
It was somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not into the Harley series at all. But Jim, why should people be checking this one out?
Well, remember the scratch and sniff issue. If you weren't in the U.S., you actually just got clean cut grass smell, not rubbin all drugs. Yeah, the rubbin smell they called it. But yeah, they had issues with the comic going over the borders and stuff with drug smelling dogs. Actually, that was their claim. But this issue itself. The Harley Quinn has had a bunch of special issues. They had a Comic-Con issue. They had a holiday issue. And all of these special issues have been really, really good. The actual series itself, I really do like. Eric actually had it at first to review. He didn't really like it, so he gave it to me, and I loved it. And it's
wasn't enough story for me.
Yeah, it's very story light until recently there was a Power Girl story. But besides that, these special issues are really good because they are hilarious. They often have a lot of crazy characters. Egg Foo was in the holiday. Are you aware of Egg Foo?
Good Lord.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they throw a lot of stuff. It's just ridiculousness, a lot of pop culture stuff. And to me, I don't know why, but as a special issue, Harley Quinn and Valentine's Day seems to go together to me, just seems to click. And that Bruce is involved, I think it's going to be hilarious. So basically, if you like hilarity, poop jokes, ridiculous stuff, it's for you. So it's for me. I love poop jokes.
Would you say that this is similar to is it Holiday Nights or Harley and Ivy?
Yeah.
There's one where I think it's Holiday Nights, the episode of the New Batman Adventures or whatever, where Harley and Ivy go out in the town and Bruce has to not only stop them as Batman, but they basically brainwash. Is that basically what this is going to be?
I think it's going to be pretty much exactly that. I have a feeling it's going to be an homage to that even, but yeah, I think it's going to be hilarious. I think it's going to be really good.
Awesome. All right, Jim's second choice doesn't annoy me as much as Gotham Academy.
I'm rubbing my hands again. Come on. You can do it. Just read it. Read it.
And the funny thing is, I was recently at my comic shop, and I still haven't told them to take the damn series off my list. And I have 5, 6, and 7 right there. It's like, oh God, no. Grayson, #7, written by Tim Seeley and Tom King. Art and cover by Mikhail Janin. Grayson and Helena must battle their old foes, the Fist of Cain.
Yes.
Okay. I know some people, and I think we talked about this.
Yeah, I went there.
believe you pulled a Kevin Smith. So I know certain writers write the solicitations, and what I want to know is who is the pimply faced ad boys or copy boys that they give solicitations to write these short. Like, I don't want a full spoiler in a solicitation, but I want something like what I just read with the Harley Quinn thing. It's I don't want just a one-line solicitation. That's just, I mean, that's like what DC did with "You think you know Nightwing, but you don't know Dick."
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Wait till you see what Batman does in the night. So I think they just, I have a feeling sometimes that they just haven't gotten the issue done and they need a solicit, so they go so generic. And like you said, they just grab a guy. Hey, write this. There's Grayson, Helena, and Fist of Cain in there. All right, there they go. They battle their old foes, the Fist of Cain.
I kind of want this job.
That would be good. You still wouldn't be able to do it.
No, probably not.
Wow.
No, but I know that you are a Nightwing fan, and I know that you hate Grayson, and I think you have to come on over. Just come on.
Here's the thing. Like, I've come to terms with them killing the alter ego Nightwing, but it just seems when I was reading Grayson, I read the first 3 issues and the Future's End issue. It just seemed like in those first 3 issues that they constantly wanted to poke and prod us Nightwing fans of, is it issue 2 or issue 3 where he calls Bruce or Bruce calls him, and it's this super secret thing of only Bruce knows he's alive, and Dick is sitting there saying, well, how's Alfred, or how's this, or how's, wanting to know, and it just felt like I was being, prodded with a cattle prod, like, hey, Nightwing's not here anymore, and I just don't care.
I know.
I don't dislike this series as much as I dislike Gotham Academy. Like, Gotham Academy, just
it's great,
but Grace, no.
That's what you're telling me.
No, not at all. Okay. But Grayson, I just have an indifference to it at this point.
No, here's the thing. After the issues you're talking about, especially after the Future's End, I'm telling you, this book turned in a way that it actually became, it sounds very corny, but it became a celebration of Dick. Grayson.
Wow.
I know. It became a book that actually seems to be focusing on showing the reader how great a guy Dick Grayson is. And each issue is more and more. There's an issue that, and besides that, Midnighter has become one of the main villains that was in it. I love Midnighter. It's funny because, to me, not a lot of people know Midnighter, not a lot of people care of him, but because of this book, had to have been the reason why they recently just announced that he's going to have a solo book. That's one of the solo books in June, which I think is going to fail miserably. But because of the fact, it's so good. Like I said, it is a celebration of Dick Grayson. It's a thing. The book's main thing is not Spiral or Spies or anything like that. It's basically showing you that Dick Grayson is a great guy who will do anything to help people. He'll do it. And in fact, this issue, number 7, there's a point, but basically they say Dick has to save the day, and the only reason he can do it is because he is such a good guy. He doesn't have a lot of hate in him. He hasn't been to the dark side, is what I'm saying. And
he's not Bruce.
No. And what's really good, I think, is that you have Bruce. Now, Midnighter himself is a analog to Bruce, would you say? He's a Batman. And I really like the idea that in Forever Evil, Nightwing died, quote unquote, and went, and still he goes to Spiral. He's a spy, and he still can't get away from that Batman figure. And it's Midnighter stalking him down. And to me, it really shows he is trying to grow out of all that. He's trying to become his own guy, and I think that he is, and I really, really enjoy it. Say in my reviews all the time, and I'm telling you, I think of you when I do the reviews, and I know that sounds creepy, but when I tell people in the review that if you're a Nightwing fan, please give this a chance more than just a couple issues, because I really do think that they are trying to not goad you in or not cattle prod you. I think they're really trying to celebrate Dick Grayson. That's how I take it. I've really come to love this book. And Michael Jannon's art is awesome. I love it. I think it's so good.
The art is great.
Yeah.
And, the art's great. I have no problems with the art at all.
Yeah.
But it just...
I'm telling you, if you give it a shot and go into it with an open mind, not that closed mind you have over everything Dick Grayson.
Well, see, I don't want to really get into this, but here's the thing. It's like, they, and I know I need to get over this, folks, but I just can't. Kyle Higgins had this whole thing, and he had the rug pulled out from under him twice.
He got screwed over. I agree. And I think he's a great writer.
He was going to do an Amusement Mile storyline, and then, oh, no, the Joker's coming back, so Joker gets to blow up Amusement Mile. And then Kyle took him to Chicago, Kyle's hometown, which was so great.
It was great. And then
it was amazing.
It was canceled because of no reason of anything except to make a cheap storyline in Forever Evil. It was. But I'm telling you, and I know you think Dan DiDio hates Nightwing and Dick Grayson, but he does. But you know what? I think that if he does, this book pisses him off every time it comes out because it's that good. I'm telling you, it is that good a Dick Grayson book. That's all it is. It's a Dick Grayson book. He happens to be in Spiral, super agent, spy, whatever, but it's more about his own, how he deals with things and how he doesn't want to compromise what he is. And he keeps calling Batman, that's still involved. And but again, that doesn't bother me as much as you, but I get past that and just look at it as what it is to me, is just a book about Dick Grayson, which I really like.
Jim's final choice for February is Justice League 3000, number 14, written by Keith Giffen. Uh-oh, there we go again.
There, I told you, dear.
And J.M. DeMatteis, art and cover by Howard Porter. Beetle and Booster, Fire and Ice, The Injustice League, Etrick and the Demon, not to mention the Justice League. No, not that one, the one we're doing. Come on, people. We're bending over backward here. At least meet us halfway. Maybe flip through the issue at your local comic shop.
Goddamn Giffen.
Who the hell wrote
Keith Giffen wrote that.
Yeah, I think Keith Giffen might have had a bit of it.
He's the funny guy.
Yes, but...
I don't have a problem with Beetle.
Okay.
I have a huge... And it's only because of the Justice League Unlimited episode that the only one he was ever in, thank God. I have a huge problem with Booster. He is an arrogant piece of shit.
And you know what's
so much.
And you know what's the best about this book is you're supposed to not like him. You're supposed to be annoyed by him because he is so arrogant like that. And this whole book it's hilarious. And again, we go on and on. Keith Giffen's the funny guy, but this book is hilarious. If you enjoy the characters, you like the Justice League and want to see them in a different way that's hilarious, but also has a story that's kind of an odd future story that goes along with cloning and how you treat people, and it's so good. Superman is a jerk-off. Batman is like just nobody. What it is they have parasitically cloned the Justice League, if that makes sense. And so these people were normal people, got cloned into being Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. They had partial memories of what they think they used to be, but everything is messed up from the time. Like in the future, they have it's almost like learning something through the Dark Ages. You don't get the full picture. Some things are wrong, some things are right. And so that's how they've cloned them. And because of that, they're ridiculous. And in fact, like Superman himself, Superman can't fly. He is a clone of a guy. He still thinks he can fly. Jumps out windows, falls, all this stuff. But I'm telling you, it is this book, when it came out, I said that it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. I thought it was going to be terrible. I love it. I really love it. Howard Porter's art, I think, is stupendous. I love his art. I think it's just great. And the book has so many possibilities because every issue you can throw another clone of this. They had Firestorm was in it earlier, and he was a jerk off and flew off to do his own thing. He has no, care for the Justice League. He started remembering that he doesn't really care if he flew off. They have Etrigan's in it, which is Etrigan. And Ice was a great one. Last issue, Ice showed up. She's immortal. So she knew the Justice League when they were actually the real Justice League. And she has issues with this new Justice League. Beetle and Booster are actually the pre-New 52 version of Beetle and Booster that were cryogenically frozen and brought back. So everything in this book is just craziness. It's great. This is one of those that was, I guess, canceled, soft canceling, I'd say, because it's coming back with Justice League 3001. And I think they're just doing that to start a renumbering and hope more people jump on. But I really think that this book, if anybody out there likes a science fiction / superhero / crazy, funny thing that they want to have as a parody of a normal comic book, then I think this is for them.
Alrighty then. Eric, are you reading Justice League 3000?
No, I am not. The only thing I know about it is from what Jim has told me.
Yeah. All right, folks. For my choices here, I have not been reading it since issue 36, I think.
Yeah.
I think issue 36 was where I said, oh, nope, screw it. I think. Let me just look here, folks, because it's been a while since I looked at this. But, 37. So I've been out for 2 issues at this point. Batgirl 38 is out, but I am going to be talking about the solicitation for Batgirl number 39, written by Cameron Stewart and Brendan Fletcher, art by Babs Tarr, cover by Stewart. The only reason why I'm even bringing this up is because of the cover. They just had to go and do a Killing Joke homage, didn't they? It's the only good thing so far about this series that I absolutely love is some of these covers. For months, Batgirl's been hounded by an unseen threat claiming to be the real quote-unquote Batgirl. The truth of her enemy's identity will shock her to her very core. Wait, what? Really? Seriously?
Very core, man. Very core.
To the core.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you put this, and you're
struggling
here.
I only wanted to talk about it because of the Killing Joke homage on the cover.
I was so shocked that you had it on your list.
Well, what Stewart and Fletcher have been doing as writers on this series is that, as far as I know, they've basically become Ultrons. They're pulling our strings because they said, oh, well, this guy who's dressing up as Batgirl in issue 37 is going to be the real, this unseen threat. And are they going to reveal the threat in issue 39, or are they going to wait until 40? Now, originally, when the changeover happened, I said I would give this series 5 issues, from 35 to 40. And after 37, I did not enjoy reading it. Folks, if you want a teeny bopper Batgirl story, if you want all the internet cliches, all the technology of today cliches for teenagers, read this book.
Yep.
This is basically a Gotham Academy companion piece at this point.
You son of a bitch.
And if you want to set something back 50 years, read it.
I'm telling you, don't not read Gotham Academy because you don't like this Batgirl, because this Batgirl has one thing that Gotham Academy doesn't have, and it's a Batgirl who's horrible. She is so bad, and there is no way that I would ever want any Batgirl to act like this Batgirl. Gotham Academy is great. This book is garbage. It really is. What do you think, Eric?
Thoughts?
I really, really, really hate this book. I love Batgirl, and this abomination has totally stripped all love I had for it out of me. It is making girls look dumb, and especially there's supposed to be a strong female character. And that issue 38, she got drunk. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if she got drunk. She had a few drinks.
I don't know that she got drunk, but yeah.
Yeah, she had a few drinks and decided she needed to take down a drunk driver that night.
By throwing grenades at him.
And then making him crash into a cafe. It's just that this is not the kind of example I want Batgirl to set, especially if this is meant for a younger audience.
Yeah, they seem to have... Me and Eric have actually talked. We think that this Batgirl is a trick to get everybody to hate her so much and then to switch around so that people love the next one even more.
Like.
That's all we can think of.
All All right, let's wash the horrible taste out of the mouth of that thing with this one. He-Man, the Eternity War, number 3. Dan Abnett on writing, art by Pat Mahan. The cover is by Stefan Sejic. High above the sands of time, She-Ra leads Stratos and an aerial squadron in search of the Eye of Chrono. Their mission is jeopardized by the appearance of Catra, Scorpia, and the Horde army. Will the Princess of Power defeat these women from her past and retrieve the Eye? The Eternity War is just getting started. Now, Eric, when you wrote your review of issue 2, I do remember you saying in there, thank God there's no She-Ra, no nothing, anything. What do you think now?
No, I'm saying it's not thank God that like I'm saying, if you want to do that now, I'm fine. It's just that I like the straightforward story of going with the war instead of jumping back and forth between them and their quest for the gems.
Okay.
But I'm saying if you want to take an issue and talk about She-Ra and the Sorceress, I'm all for it.
See, I think this is going to be another part of the war, though. This isn't just the search for the gems.
Oh, I understand. There's a big war going on, but it's just that I don't want to be jumping back and forth between them on their quest and the big battle. I think, and we also jump back and forth between Duncan and him trying to take out the orbital disruptor.
Yeah,
but I just don't want to cram too much story per issue.
Oh, absolutely right. Yeah. And my final one here, because I know Jim, again, as we said last month, is not a Motu fan. So
no. I just was shaking my head. You guys talking your nerdy talk.
He-Man's my hero. Has
you and your
wait. Eric and I talk the nerdy talk, and yet you talk dirty old man talk when you talk about Gotham Academy.
I'm gonna look at them little girls.
Alrighty then. My final choice is an advanced solicitation. This will be out March 11th, 2015. Batman Beyond, Justice Lords Beyond, trade paperback, written by Kyle Higgins and Christos Gage, art by Tony Silas, Dexter Soy, and others. Wonder Woman is back, but what secret is she hiding? Meanwhile, Batman's journey through the dystopian world of the Justice Lords takes a deadly turn as he faces Lord Superman. Collects Batman Beyond, issues 9 through 12. I cannot wait to see this thing in trade. They've already released Rewired, the first trade, which has the Rewire story and the Man-Bat story in it. I cannot wait. After reading the issues where Terry faces Lord Superman, Kyle Higgins basically crushes your soul, people.
Yep.
He really, really does.
It's funny. I read the solicit, and I'm trying to think back of the issues involved, and it doesn't even matter because every issue is great. So you can never go wrong with any of these issues. It was such a great series, the whole thing. But yeah, now I'm starting to remember when I'm looking at that, and he does crush your soul.
He basically kills your soul.
Yep.
And I do know from Alex Antone on Twitter, he said that, because I asked him about these trades, he had said that there was going to be the Justice Lords Beyond one, and then he thinks there's going to be one more or maybe two more. One more might be Mark of the Phantasm, yep. Mark of the Phantasm, and then there'll be one that has the final stories in it when Rewire comes back.
The Mark of the Phantasm will be great. The other stories, I still love them, but it seemed like when they were going to end it, they should have ended at Mark of the Phantasm, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But no, the Justice Lords story is it's great.
Yeah, it is. Cool. It's the first time that I had read any of the Justice League stuff in that universe. I had not read any. I didn't read the original run that they had done or anything like that. I didn't even read it when Christos Gage took it over.
Yeah, I started reading it from the first to that, and then went back and read the ones before. But the Justice Lord or the Justice League Beyond was I really loved that whole run too, and unfortunately that ended I think too soon as well.
That's because they want nothing to do with the DC Animated Universe anymore.
I know.
All right, folks.
That's not exactly true. No, hold on. That's not exactly true because in that Multiversity Guidebook, they actually have the Batman Beyond universe there and the Justice Lords universe listed there.
Well, yeah, they have that listed there, but they've pretty much stated whether it's the comics or the movies. I know for a fact, since Bruce Timm is no longer the head of WB Animation, that it's James Tucker now, they're more focused on the new 52 movies, in which, at this point, I don't know what the hell they're going to do now.
Well, that's the
because it's
thing.
not going to make any damn difference.
But it might revert back to maybe they get more interested in the old animated universe, because the new 52 stuff, I really don't know what they're going to do overall, which we'll see.
Yeah, we will see.
Yep.
All right, folks, that is going to do it for the DC Solicitations for February 2015. Join us next month when we'll be talking about whatever the heck's going to happen in March.
Yep.
The end of Batman Eternal, folks. There you go. Coming up next is the Image. is the Image Comics solicits. So I will see you then with Jeremy Fein. We'll be back after this.
So let's say you're looking for a podcast of your favorite 80s comic books, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Ninja Turtles, He-Man, etc. Where are you going to go to find us?
Welcome to Star Joe's Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan.
And I'm Chuck. That's right, everybody. We're the Star Joes. We host a podcast called Star Joe's Podcast, where we talk about your favorite comic books, your favorite toys of all the 80s properties.
Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Mask, Thundercats, Voltron, you name it, we cover it. If it's in the 80s, we'll cover it at some point.
Yes, so what you want to do to find us, you can go to iTunes, you can go to www.starjoes.com.
And remember, the Force will be with you.
Because knowing us is half the battle.
All right, folks, it's time for the Image Comics segment of the February 2015 solicitations for profiling previews here inside the Pull Bag. I have back with me this month Jeremy Fein. Hello, sir.
I love you, Image Comics, so yes, I do.
The first thing we're going to point out to you people, it's out now, or will be out now. Nameless number 1, story by Grant Morrison, art and cover by Chris Burnham and Nathan Fairbairn. $2.99 book. An astronomer. God, I can't talk tonight, folks. An astronomer kills. God, I can't say that right. Kills his family and then himself, leaving a cryptic warning. A veiled lady haunts her victims through human nightmares. An occult hustler known only as Nameless is recruited by a consortium of billionaire futurists for a desperate mission, and the malevolent asteroid Zebilbia spins closer on a collision course with Earth. But nothing is what it seems. A terrifying inhuman experiment is about to begin. Abandon all hope and experience ultimate horror in Nameless.
You know, you really did say a mouthful. If only there was a little more. It is Grant Morrison. I mean, I think we all know who Grant Morrison is. If not, you've been under a rock, or, not in the Batcave under a rock. You know what? Heard of it. There is a huge library of subscriptions I have on Comixology for the Image section. Yeah. There's Saga, there's Chew, there's Cowl, there's Proof. I can go on and on. As I said, Image is interesting because they're taking risks. Unlike the other one that I think we were talking about before for the January, this one seems to be a little bit more not so far-fetched, but this one seems a little bit more interesting to give a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we have The Empty, number 1, story by Jimmy Robinson, art and cover by Jimmy Robinson as well. $3.50 book. Death, Part 1. Tenor lives in an empty, apocalyptic world of poison and decay. Her village is all that remains of humanity as they struggle against mutant beasts and rotting bones. But Tenor finds a chance to save her people when a stranger drifts into town, a stranger armed with a power to grow life from death, a stranger who could change the world if Tenor can keep them alive in the deadly world of the Empty.
Well, it feels like something out of the 80s again, but what else is new? It seems to me that Image is dependent on the apocalypse, but then again, who isn't concerned about the apocalypse? It's just who has a better story about the apocalypse. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it's all doom and gloom. And
this one feels like to me like the entire season, the entire premise behind Power Rangers RPM.
Really?
Because if you look at it, Power Rangers RPM there was one city left on the entire planet. The rest of it is nothing but wasteland. And it's really what this sounds like to me. I mean, or you could put it in the perspective of Judge Dredd, where, you have 3 megacities and the rest of it's just cursed Earth, but I don't know. It sounds really interesting and cool, but like you said, between last month's episode where we talked about a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff with Image, and now in this month, it's like, wow, Image really likes their post-apocalyptic stories.
It's like, okay, Image... the good thing about Image is that they just don't talk about the apocalypse. There's other things that they have on their plate. Proof is one, Rasputin is one. I just wish that if they're going to take a post-apocalyptic that's doing well, it has to be Walking Dead. If they want to move forward with what the future's going to be like, there's Bitch Planet. But I just feel like you can't keep going Thunder the Barbarian every single time, or Teenage Caveman, because you're going to hit a rock of what's going to happen in the future. I mean, they're not the only ones who've discussed it, and they're not the only ones who've discussed it well. But it's like, how many more of these post-apocalyptic comics and Image are we really going to discuss tonight? There can't be any more.
Who knows? Postal #1, story by Brian Hill and Matt Hawkins. Art and cover B is by Isaac Goodhart. This is a $3.99 book. The townsfolk of Eden, Wyoming wake up to the first official murder the town has seen in 25 years. Their reaction to this isn't normal, and there's a reason for that. Eden operates as a haven for fugitive criminals who remain here, while new identities, often including facial reconstruction, are created for them. There is a zero-tolerance policy for any illegal activity that might draw attention to the town, and an official murder is the last thing that they want. A single tight-knit family runs Eden, with the youngest oddball son, Mark Schifron, overseeing the postal branch, the only means of shipping in or out of the city. The FBI has repeatedly been foiled trying to insert an undercover here. They see Mark as the weak link to exploit. The murder gives them a new opportunity.
Okay. Potential.
Yeah.
It does. You know what? It seems like you're taking 6 different ideas, put it in the blender, hitting frappe like God hate astronauts. Not a bad thing. My only concern will be, what can you do for an encore? They're very good setting up the premise. And they're very good at showing us what everybody, is doing, or what's happening in these little closed-minded towns, because this is something out of the 70s Grindhouse movie where it's the future and everything is held by the government, or Big Brother is watching. I have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, besides what happens after you try to overthrow the government, is this a mini-series? Is there going to be other characters? Are there going to be arcs? You seem to be throwing in a lot of things at once, Image, and I'm not blaming you. I'm just asking, do you want to make sure you're going to put all your eggs into one basket? Now, I know I defended God Hates Astronauts. Possibilities are endless because there's so many things you can satire and pluck and discuss and go from planet to planet because the universe is big. But when you're in an tight little area where there's a giant wall around society and trying to free society, what are you going to do next? Is my question. That's all.
I think this is, for most of the part, I don't think Image does I mean, they have. I've seen them do one shots and stuff like that, but I haven't seen them do a whole lot of spotlights. One thing, or mini series, I should say. I see them launching new titles all the time, and it's like, oh, hey, this is a new title from Image, and that's great. If we get into the story, we get into the story. This looks really cool and interesting. I kind of wish I knew what kind of timeline we're dealing with here. But it could be really cool. Up next, we have Secret Identities #1, story by Brian Joines and Jay Farber. Art and cover by Elias Kazas. I could be wrong. And Charlie Kirchhoff. This is a 350 book. The supergroup known as the Frontline have just invited new hero Crosswind to join them. But what they don't know is that Crosswind is a mole sent to learn all their secrets. And the Frontline have lots of secrets. Writers Brian Joines and Jay Farber. And the stunning art team of Kirizis and Charlie Kirchhoff bring you classic super team action and intrigue for the 21st century. Behind every mask is a secret.
It comes off like a watered-down version of Watchmen by Alan Moore. But I don't think it's going to be where superheroes are outlawed. And
right.
I would like to see the alter ego and the cape. So I've heard of this. I've just not had a chance to read it again, but I have heard of it. Mm-hmm. So I will give it a chance and just purchase an issue.
Right. Also, out in February, we have Chew Volume 9 Chicken Tenders. This collects Chew issues 41 to 45, plus the blockbuster spin-off one-shot Chew Warrior Chicken Polio. So there is that. JT and I really need to get back to doing the Chew records, so we'll talk about that on a different day. The Fade Out Volume 1, Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips. Brubaker and Phillips' newest hit series, The Fade Out, an epic noir set in the world of noir itself, the backlots and bars of Hollywood at the end of its golden era. A movie stuck in an endless reshoots and writer, damaged from the war and lost in the bottle, and a dead movie star, the lookalike hired to replace her. Nothing is what it seems in the place where only lies are true. The Fade Out is Brubaker and Phillips' most ambitious project yet. I did like The Fade Out #1. I will be checking out more of it as we go along. But it's nice to finally see these in trades.
Well, again, it's noir. And if you, like me, enjoyed L.A. Confidential and the video game L.A. Noir, then you're going to enjoy this type of comic book series. It is, 40s noir in, graphic novel or comic book form. I do remember us discussing this a couple months ago when we discussed Image, the possibilities. I think this is between Bitch Planet and Rasputin.
Yep.
I don't know if we're going to go back to it, but if we do, I would definitely be on board. This happens to be a great love letter to those crime novels of the 30s and 40s.
Absolutely. God Hates Astronauts, Volume 2, A Star is Born. Story, art, and cover by Ryan Brown. The first collection of the new sold-out series of God Hates Astronauts, perfect for new readers. Behold the invasion of King Tiger eating a cheeseburger and a legion of space crabs. NASA must utilize their every resource, a guy with a ghost cow head and a bunch of magic bears and a Chicago cop with a robot arms to avoid an intergalactic incident. This collects God Hates Astronauts, Volume 2, issues 1 through 5. The more I read about this, the more I want to actually read this book. It sounds great.
Again, begging that we have to do a pull bag on Volume 1 at least before we get into Volume 2. You have to go with an open mind. And the other thing is, like I said when we discussed it for the January solicitations, this is when you take every little thing from 1960s Lost in Space during the final episode of the Giant Vegetable Rebellion. You take a little bit of Animaniacs, where satire is smart. It's not 2 out of the 3 people from Scary Movie, but smart writers. You take the zaniness of Looney Tunes and 90s Steven Spielberg presents cartoons, and you throw in a little RoboCop, which, of course, as we know, if you've seen RoboCop, you remember the advertisements. They were very Gonzo-esque. You get, and of course, 1980s, cartoons, which is Thundercats and Silverhawks and Battle of the Planets and Robotech. You get God Hates Astronauts. And I'm telling you right now, money well spent. You will not have buyer's remorse reading these books.
Yeah. We got Bitch Planet number 3. This is a flashback story, this issue, by Kelly Sue DeConnick. The art is by Robert Wilson IV. Too Big to Fail reveals the specific events leading to Zaftig Pennyroll's incarceration. There are only 3 issues in and they're doing a flashback. Okay.
You know what it is? There are comics that they try to do this. I mean, you'll get issue 1 of a comic or a story. I mean, I hate to bring this up, and I don't know why I am, but Desperate Housewives kind of started with a flashback in a way. The reason why they're doing this is because there were a lot of questions that we kind of asked with the first issue, and I remember asking this too. The setup of why, a heroine is on the planet, how the husband's trying to get her off of the planet, what her story was. It looks good on paper, and maybe, the flashback should have started first, then we would get the... But I guess they wanted to get the bitch planet first. They wanted to cram a lot in to get readers into the story, which is fine. I don't mind too much when you do a flashback like this in 3 issues, just as long as you're not dependent on too much and there's a point. But I guess it's going to tie up all loose ends.
Well, let's hope. Chew number 46 by John Layman and Rob Guillory. Blood Puddin' Part 1. New partner, new boss, new problems. Also a new storyline. Dun dun dun. Again, I still need to get caught up on Chew, so I'm glad there isn't too many spoilers in this solicitation. But yeah, right now my favorite Image comics are Cowl, Chew, Sex Criminals. What else? There's a couple other ones, but yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting that 46 starts a new storyline. Let's see. Cowl number 9, Kyle Higgins, Alex Siegel on writing, Rod Rice on art, cover by Trevor McCarthy. Jeffrey Warner and Camden Stone's false flag operation continues to escalate with the return of a Chicago 6 villain, Skylancer, but who's under the Skylancer mask will shock even Jeffrey. Dun dun dun. Yeah, Cowl, oh god, this book cannot get any better. Every issue it gets better and better and better.
And I still have it under my subscription status. Haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I promise you I will. I've heard so many good things about Cowl. Absolutely.
Alright, Rasputin number 5, Alex Gresham and Riley Rossimo for story and art. Let's see here. The death of Rasputin, shot by a sniper on the front lines during World War I. But that's not the way it's supposed to happen. Something's very wrong. Uh-oh.
You know what? I don't know why, but I'm going to trail off to Marvel Comics with somebody like Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse, where they kind of traveled and Apocalypse went one-on-one with Dracula. Or even with Marvel Comics with Wolverine, fighting every war. You heard all the stories of Rasputin. You heard how he was stabbed, shot, castrated, kind of like Vigo the Carpathian in Ghostbusters 2. I mean, I know I'm showing off a lot, but that's where they seem to be going. I wish they kind of... There's this great anime called The Devil's a Part-Timer, where Satan somehow... He got trapped into this teenager's body, and now he has to work part-time in a fast food restaurant in Japan. That would have been perfect for something like the Rasputin comic. I don't know where they're going to go with this. I did defend the first couple of issues. I've read them. Now I feel that they're just going to use, like we discussed, Doc Brown and Meg Ryan. Mm-hmm. And I'm just waiting for Bartok to come in. It sounded good on paper, but I don't know where they're going to go with it now. Now they're just going to go with his deaths and him coming back. He works in Hellboy comics, if you're going to use him, but I just don't see him standalone now.
Yeah, no. And the final one for Image Comics we're going to talk about for February is Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses, #2 by David Lapham. You'll never find a happier person than Rose, a single mom living among the worst killers, thieves, and drug addicts in the city. She's never had a down thought cross her mind, not until her least favorite person hooked up with a boy she was more than sweet on. The day Rose saw Beth and Orson together, something broke inside her, and now this airheaded, happy-go-lucky, highly promiscuous fake blonde is out for blood, and she doesn't care whose or how much is spilt. Can this buxom bombshell's heart be quote-unquote fixed before she blows up Baltimore and ruins Orson and Beth's own revenge plans, or will the next bouquet of flowers she gets be the ones on her own grave? Man, I gotta pick this series up. Yeah. This sounds like a lot of fun.
This is another one we should be discussing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is going to be like what True Romance would have been if they would have done sequels or made it into a series, or Natural Born Killers. And that's what it feels like, and it's an homage to that, and I'm fine with that. This is definitely another one we got to read.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just the solicitations make it sound like it's a really, really fun, interesting series. All right, folks, that's going to do it for Image. JT and I are going to come up next with the Marvel solicits after this.
Hey, it's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here, and I'm swinging by the GeekCast Radio Network.
All right, folks, so we've heard from IDW, DC, and Image. Now it's time here in the February profiling previews episode to talk about Marvel Comics and all that they have to offer coming in February, or releasing in February. And joining me once again this month for Marvel is JT from Saskatoon. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
Another day, another dollar.
Mm-hmm. Or another day, another $5 tip.
Oh, that was so good.
That was from last month, ladies and gentlemen.
It made me smile so much.
So, Marvel Comics, stuff that came out in February for Marvel here. We're going to start with Darth Vader, #1 and 2. Oh, boy. They're real. I mean, I love that they're hitting these Star Wars things just immediately. I think that's great. I mean, seeing as how the franchise is back with Marvel now.
Casada or whoever's, the Alonzo, the EIC at Marvel is like, there were so many Star Wars comics from Dark Horse. We must number them. We must go be better than we need more.
But see, the coolest thing is that, and I'm just looking at this on my wish list here, the coolest thing is they brought over a lot of stuff from Dark Horse. Like, I was not expecting, like, on Comixology right now, I can sit here and buy Darth Vader in the Ghost Prison. Or I could sit here and buy the Dark Empire trilogy. Or I could sit here and buy the Thrawn trilogy. So those will definitely be, I don't know if it'll be with you, because I think I did the original Star Wars stuff with Ryan Drost from Star Joes, but those are 3 Star Wars books that you can expect coverage for here in the pull bag eventually.
If you ever get a chance, you should check out the Tag and Bank stuff that came out from Star Wars Dark Horse. Mm-hmm. It's these 2 characters who they're basically the Jay and Silent Bob of the Star Wars universe.
Oh God!
They were younglings at the Jedi Temple when Anakin went to the dark side, and they escaped. And they play with them in the sense that they're always these characters in the background, like through much shenanigans and space hijinks, they ended up being those two Imperial red-suited guards that like walk around the elevator when Luke comes in the end of Jedi. They walk around, and you see that they walk around, and they're like, wait a second, there's no door back here? I thought there'd be one. And like they literally walked that way because they thought there was another entrance to the elevator so they could get the F out of there. And then they end up as Force ghosts at the end of Jedi.
Oh, jeez. All right, so Darth Vader number 1 and 2, written by Kieran Gillen, and art is done by Salvador LaRocca. The original Dark Lord of the Sith stars in his first ongoing series. Ever since Darth Vader made his first on-screen appearance, he became one of the most popular villains to ever haunt an audience's dreams. Now, follow Vader straight from the ending of A New Hope and the pages of a new Star Wars comic book into his own series, showing the Empire's war with the Rebel Alliance from the other side. Writer Kieran Gillen from Uncanny X-Men, Journey into Mystery, and Iron Man, and artist Salvador LaRocca, Invincible Iron Man, X-Men No More Humans, bring us a peek behind the mask of evil. Dun, dun, dun. Issue 1 will be 48 pages, and it'll be $4.99. Issue 2 will be 32 pages and $3.99. Are you going to pick this up?
Does a Jedi use the Force?
For a second there, I thought you were going to say, does Jedi shit in the woods?
Oh, I'm not going to lie. I almost did say, I was actually would have been, does a Wookiee go in the woods, you know? You just, and Han's like, uh-oh, sounds like that taco's coming back on Chewie.
Good Lord.
No, I'm definitely going to be picking this one up. I mean, it's the Dark Lord of the friggin' Sith. And every time I see that Kieran Gillen, I always think I want to say Karen Gillan, like Amy Pond from Doctor Who.
No,
you know,
it's Kieran. I don't know the man that well. I assume it's some sort of Irish name is the only thing I can think of as far as his first name goes. According to Comixology, these first two issues will be released or would have been released because the February profiling preview episode won't go up till February 25th. These were released February 11th, 2015. Yeah, I'm kind of stoked for this. I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. Like I said, I believe I said it in the January previews episode when we talked about Marvel and Star Wars and all this stuff. Don't get me wrong, folks. I friggin' love Star Wars, the movies. And from what I've read of the Dark Horse Star Wars comics when we covered Blood Ties last year, I really enjoyed it. So now that Marvel has it back and they're putting out new content for Star Wars, I'm very, very I'm interested, but at the same time, I don't know if I'll dive all in. I'm gonna at least check out these first two issues though for Darth Vader, because it's gonna be interesting to see, you know, like the solicit says, you know, from the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's not something that's really come up too often in the entirety of the Star Wars comic book history. That you know, you've had the odd miniseries here and there. You know, there's was it Crimson Empire, which featured like one of the Crimson, you know, Imperial Guards going off on his own and, you know, having shenanigans. And then there's been, you know, any number of Boba Fett miniseries. Like, it's not often that you have something from the other side of the Star Wars like that. So I'm definitely looking for it. I mean, and again, it's when I read this, I'm going to be hearing James Earl Jones' voice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the only voice you can hear. I mean, you know. And it's one of those things where, you know, this is being told from the other side. This is, and, you know, when I read that in the solicit, the one thing that makes me think of when I read that was like, hey, it's kind of like being on the pork side of the Force over in Angry Birds Star Wars. All right. Up next, we have Star Wars #2, written by Jason Aaron, art by John Cassidy. The greatest space adventure of all time continues. The rebel assault on Simoon 1 continues. Luke Skywalker cornered by Darth Vader. Han, Leia, and the others trapped. Dun, dun, dun.
Seen it. No, I'm kidding. It's again, I'm going to be picking up this series because it's freaking Star Wars.
Yeah,
But,
I still have yet to read issue 1. I know I need to, but this is one of those things where I was more so curious, and I just wanted to see. I wasn't coming at I am by no means in any financial position to, add Star Wars, add everything Marvel Star Wars to my my collection. So it's one of those things where I'll check out the first issue, and if I like it, great, and whatever. And hey, down the line, I'll just wait for a trade.
Yeah, no, the first issue is great, and just the John Cassaday's art, and it's Han Solo. You hear Harrison Ford's voice, and just him being a proper scoundrel. It's
absolutely.
How could you not want to read this?
Yeah. Well, it's not that I don't want... Anyway, all right, up next we have Marvel Universe Guardians of the Galaxy number 1 of 4, adapted by Joe Caramagna, and it is based on the highly anticipated new series coming to Disney XD in 2015. Follow the further adventures of Guardians of the Galaxy. With a galaxy full of danger, only the Guardians stand between us and the destruction of everything, featuring adaptations of the upcoming animated series with a mix of screen grab and brand new stories for everyone to enjoy. 32 pages, all ages, $2.99. Now, you had asked me last month, it might have been off-air, but you had asked me in January when we did the January profiling previews if there was any info on on the cartoon series. Well, apparently... it is coming this fall in 2015, because I think I told you off air. I'm like, wait a second, why does that say... Anyway, so they're adapting the cartoon series pretty much, which is pretty cool, actually, when you think about it.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's, it's... Now we gotta wait, and I want this cartoon now, because... love the movie so much. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm going to be picking it up for sure, because I pretty much getting everything Guardians right now, because I can afford to. It feels so good. But and it's not like I'm not going to like it. It's just I hope that we get past this miniseries, if they keep it going or they have a new one, that they have make it more like the Batman Adventures comic book that we had back in the 90s, where it's, adventures that happen between episodes and all that, because I'm not a huge fan of comic books that are screen grabs.
Yeah, and see, I always saw those, if you look at and just briefly before we move on to the next one, if you look at the stuff like IDW does with the Turtles, with the cartoon Turtle stuff, they have the new animated adventures, which is an in-between the show kind of comic book, and then you have the actual book releases that IDW does. That
the little digest size things.
Right, the digest stuff that is screen grabs from the show. I think this new thing, this Marvel Universe Guardians of the Galaxy number 1 of 4, since it's only a miniseries, it's kind of to give us a teaser, a taste of what's to come, to pardon the Shang Tsung pun, of what's to come for the cartoon series. So that's kind of cool. They're giving us a little, look into it before we even get it.
Yeah, and they say they're going to have original stories too, which I'm looking forward to. It's just it's a nitpicky thing for me. It's they're not doing the screen grab thing, and I'm not a huge fan of that. That's kind of like people bitching about how the Godzilla movie last year is there wasn't enough Godzilla. It was oh, suck it up, Buttercup. But, moving on.
Yeah. Guardians Team Up numbers 1 and 2. Brian Bendis is on writing for issue 1. Art Adams on art and color. Launching directly out of Guardians of the Galaxy comes the new ongoing series, bringing the Guardians to the Marvel Universe's grandest stage for an opening arc out-of-this-world adventures with some of the biggest hitters Marvel has to offer, kicking off with cosmic threats so massive it'll take more than just the Guardians of the Galaxy to stop it. Assembled side by side with the mighty Avengers, prepare for 2 titanic teams to unite like you've never seen before. And then we have issue 2, Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers. Follow part 2 of this story as Guardians of the Galaxy slam their way into the world of the Avengers, and only working together as a team will help them save the galaxy. Tension runs high when survival is at stake, and when the likes of Gamora, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Rocket are forced to problem solve together, it can mean only one thing is guaranteed: destruction.
Boom, boom, boom.
I can't, like, for me at this point, when I think of the Avengers and Hawkeye, I think of Renner and the Marvel Universe film Hawkeye, and all as I can think of is Bradley Cooper and Jeremy Renner doing these lines,
trying to out-snark each other.
Yes, as their characters. But no, this looks really, really cool. The cover on it is great.
Oh, no. Art Adams he's one of these comic book artists that has like a super detailed art style. I mean, this guy did some of the best Godzilla comics that I've ever read, like coming out of the original Godzilla comics that came out in like the very early 90s. And his own creative series, Monkey Man and O'Brien, which involves a hyper-intelligent giant gorilla from another dimension. And it is absolutely beautiful art. Like, he gets like the lines in the face and, you know, the crease in a coat. Like, he's just got such fine detail work. It's absolutely beautiful. And definitely look at it. It's a team-up comic book in the Marvel Universe. And for some reason, DC just doesn't do this anymore. You know, apparently we don't like team-ups, and DC knows what's best. Oh, God, I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit. But overall, I'm definitely looking forward to this. And, like, I agree with Mike, folks. It's Hawkeye and Rocket. That's like oil and water, nitro and glycerin.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you know how last month we talked about, or was it last month or this month? Actually, later in this in this segment of the podcast, we'll be talking about. I think it's this one, isn't it? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, later in this segment, we'll be talking about the trade paperback for Hawkeye versus Deadpool. Can you imagine a separate series, Hawkeye and Rocket team up? Just okay, I know if people go back to episode 26 of the Pull Bag and listen to myself and Ryan Merkley talk about the Matt Fraction Hawkeye series, I was not too kind on that series because I don't give a crap about what Hawkeye is doing on his day off.
Well, you should.
I just don't care. But if there was a series that had Hawkeye and Rocket as a team-up, that would be amazing. Just the two of them. Like, if they had introduced that into the Hawkeye ongoing, I would have loved that. All right, up next we have Spider-Gwen #1, written by Jason Latour, art and covers by Robbie Rodriguez. Spider-Gwen spins into her own series because you demanded it. The breakout hit of the biggest spider event of the century is taking comic shops by storm this winter with her own new ongoing series, Spider-Gwen. Gwen Stacy is Spider-Woman, but you knew that already. What you don't know is what friends and foes are waiting for her in the aftermath of Spider-Verse. From the fan-favorite creative team that brought you Spider-Gwen's origin story in Edge of Spider-Verse, Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez. Dun, dun, dun. Are you going to be picking up Spider-Gwen?
Yes. Yes, I am.
And as I said in last month's Profiling Previews episode, folks, JT and I will eventually get to Spider-Verse in the Pull Bag. I'm hoping this year, but I don't know exactly when yet. because I do want to figure out what the heck is going on with Spider-Man. All right,
he does
up
whatever
next,
a spider can.
Yeah. Up next, we have Silk #1, Robbie Thompson on writing and Stacey Lee on art. The cover here is done by Dave Johnson. There are 2 variant covers as well. Cindy Moon exploded out of her bunker and into the Marvel Universe when we first learned that she had been bitten by that same radioactive spider in the first arc of Amazing Spider-Man. She then went on to save Peter Parker's life more than once and traversed the Spider-Verse alongside Spider-Woman. Now, as Silk, Cindy is on her own in New York City, searching for her past, defending her own future, and webbing up wrongdoers along the way. Robbie Thompson, writer from TV Supernatural, fills in this new ongoing series with his unique blend of antics and feels, featuring stunning covers by Eisner Award winner Dave Johnson and interiors by future superstar Stacey Lee. This, I gotta say, folks, out of all the Marvel stuff we've talked about in the first 2 months of 2015, I'm really interested about this because it's spitting out of a spider book, but it isn't something I myself, and I believe sometimes you do it, and a lot of my friends sometimes will complain about origin stories, about constantly retelling origin stories with the same damn characters. This is kind of cool, where we find out that she was a character that also got bit by the same spider that Peter did, but this is her own thing. This is her own story, and I'm really interested on this one. Yeah. What about you?
No, I'm definitely giving it the 3-issue
attempt.
Well, yeah, the 3-issue rule, because I mean in the backstory of Cindy Moon as Silk, she's working at this news network that recently hired ex-mayor J. Jonah Jameson they brought him on, and he's got his own Bill O'Reilly, style TV show so now he's got even more coverage of, Spider-Man is a menace. So I'm kind of looking forward to the shenanigans of Cindy working behind the scenes and possibly screwing with Jolly Jonah from time to time. and the fact that Robbie Thompson's writing this, and he's done some of my favorite episodes of Supernatural over the last few years. Mm-hmm. Like he did the one with the girl with the Dungeons and Dragons tattoo, which is an episode that basically highlighted Charlie Bradbury, who's played by Felicia Day. It's one of my favorite new characters on that show. I'm looking forward to this. This could be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And what's not to love about a Spider-Woman?
True. I still miss Julia Carpenter, but that's a whole nother
she's
discussion
Madam
for
Web now.
Is she really?
Yeah, that happened during the whole Gauntlet storyline where...
Okay, you can tell me later. I only remember her from Iron Man 94.
Cosmic shenanigans, all I'm saying.
And now it is time for the Fantastic Farce. Oh, I'm sorry. The Fantastic Four, number 643, written by James Robinson. Art by Leonard Kirk. The Internet Wrecking. The End is Forever continues. With the villain's plans revealed, an invasion of Earth begins with the creatures from Franklinverse, as well as corrupted versions of the heroes from Heroes Reborn. Will the Fantastic Four have enough power to fight them on the streets of New York City? Meanwhile, Sue Namor and Jim Hammond resolve into... It's supposed to be dissolve. I don't know, whatever. Into the Franklinverse. Yeah. Into the Franklinverse to combat this threat at its source, but what they find is far more terrifying than they expected. Plus the return of Sleepwalker and Bentley 23's finest hour? Yeah, anything that has a number 643 or any 3-digit number after it for issues, I know you like this, and I'll let you talk about it in a minute, but I just don't care.
Well, it's Marvel's attempt, because they're, again, like we said last time in the January solicits, that Marvel's not, like the president of Marvel, basically, they're still trying to get something with Sony worked out so Spider-Man can be in an Avengers film. But Fox, or I'm not saying Marvel's even, Fox and Marvel both being a bunch of babies, but the whole idea with the numbering at 600 is if you take into account all the issues of the ongoing Fantastic Fours over the years, like even when Johnny Storm was thought to be dead and it became Future Foundation for a year, they still consider that a Fantastic Four comic. So the numbering carries that these are, they're lumbering towards, almost 650 issues of Fantastic Four. So the numbering doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, they started this as a new Fantastic Four series, and then last month they flipped the script and, number 12 or number 13 and whatever, I can't remember exactly what it was, would have been, the 642nd issue. So, but yeah, no, this is definitely picking this one up. I mean, it's, again, like I said last time, the villain's motivation is entirely he wanted to make time with Susan Storm, and he hemmed and he hawed, and Reed got there first, and he's like, I must destroy him now. So I'm looking forward to this, and yeah, it's like they're using the Heroes Reborn Avengers, which I kind of like that idea. I read those comics back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool that James Robinson is a great, like, he's a writer that has got, like, he's a dyed-in-the-wool comic books fan. Because when he was writing Justice League of America, like, pre-52, he had some of my favorite Justice League stories in the last 10 years, because there was this sense of fun and, WTF mofo moments, and it's just... It was a fun comic. It was a fun read, and that's what I've been loving about this series. And like I said last time, plus the fact that the city of New York finally said the Fantastic Four, get the hell out. I mean, like I said, how many times has the Baxter Building exploded and they've never shut them down before?
Yeah,
true. What did they just send the thing out and he's like, yeah, we'll come back tomorrow. Good decision. So definitely pick this one up, folks.
The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #2, Ryan North on writing, Erica Henderson on art and colors and covers and all that stuff. We have, let's see, starting college is hard enough, but now Squirrel Girl has to deal with Galactus too. The fate of the entire planet hangs in the balance, and only Squirrel Girl can save it. Also, her squirrel friend Tippy Toe, she can help too. Iron Man might show up too, kinda, at least.
Okay, this, definitely, folks, I'm just going to say it straight. You don't buy this comic, you don't like comics. Like, it's Squirrel Girl versus Galactus. And when I was reading these solicitations before the show, when it gets down to that Iron Man might show up, and my mind read, might show up, Tool. Because that's what Iron Man is right now. He's big Tool. But no, I mean, again, it's Ryan North and Erica Henderson. Like I said, I was a huge fan of Squirrel Girl's face, like Henderson's art, but that is like the only nitpick I have. Because this is bonkers, pants on head, bug nut crazy, and I love it.
Speaking of being nuts and crazy, Rocket Raccoon #8, written by Scotty Young, and art is done by Felipe Andrade, and cover by Scotty Young. The meanest, toughest, wittiest, and furriest Guardian of the Galaxy just broke out his biggest guns. Because it's on, or honor, the most on, whatever, you get it. Join superstar Scotty Young and sensational artist Felipe Andrade from Captain Marvel and Figment in a rocket adventure that breaks all the rules, including grammar. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get I'm starting to start getting Rocket Raccoon series. Oh man.
Oh, just this comic's been so good from the beginning, and I love it. All the artists, like the Felipe Andrade, Scotty Young in the original few issues, and oh god, I can't remember who's currently the artist on Guardians. Whenever Rocket says something sarcastically, they always make him look like his eyes are squinting, and he's got this shit-eating grin on his face.
Kind of like the way he did in the movie.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of looking forward, because when they have Paul Pelletier did like some of the original artist on the Guardians of the Galaxy title when like post the Annihilation events that spawned it, and they had this. I'm waiting for the piece of artwork with Rocket in this series, because in that first one they had where he kisses her grenade, he's like, "Do Papa proud," and he throws it, "Fly, my pretty fly." I'm waiting for that in this comic book, because if there's one thing people love about Rocket Raccoon, it's the fact that he has absolutely no regard for personal property. I mean, if it can't get blown up, it probably will. And apparently he's taken his talents to the English language, so, you know, because grammar's going to get broken, and well it should, because it's Rocket flippin' Raccoon.
Yep. All right, folks. Spider-Man and the X-Men #3. Elliot Callan on writing. Marco Failla on art. Cover by Stacey Lee. Variant cover is, according to this, is to be announced. Good news. Spider-Man and his ex-students got the 11:30 p.m. late night talk show slot. Bad news. His executive producers are Chameleon and Mojo. And his first guests are the Sinister 66. Plus the return of Wolverine. Well, kind of. Not really, but sort of. Okay, so...
Yes. 1,000 times
Wait. I don't want to get into a long diatribe here, but... Can I, as someone who has not followed the Marvel Universe lately, since the end of Superior Spider-Man, can I pick this series up without having to read like a million other things? Can I pick this up from issue 1 and it'll be alright? Or do I have to read like a million other books?
No, it's all fairly well explained in the first couple of issues.
Okay.
You know, because like there was... Sorry, you go.
Because, damn, this sounds so fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole idea is, like we saw last month with Spider-Man #2, that, you know, Spider-Man and the ex-students managed to stop Sauron and Stegron's attempt to, you know, Savage Land eyes Staten Island. And Storm's like, where the flip are these guys? They're supposed to be back. Because she's really pissed that Wolverine would ask Spider-Man to fill in this slot at the Jean Grey school, and then we see at the end they all get on this Blackbird and they're going back to the school, and then one of the students is there's not actually a door for the cockpit, and Spider-Man's like, oh, and then they all get gas and they pass out, and Chameleon is like, you think for a guy with a danger warning sense he wouldn't fall into so many traps. And then you see that he's getting jacked because Mojo is a giant, obese man on a mecha spider platform that is he's an other dimensional TV producer.
Right. Well, yeah. I knew who Mojo was.
Yeah. And I love that X-Men always get great ratings. You know, and so I'm definitely going to be picking this one up. I mean, I've loved this title from the beginning, and it's Spider-Man. The best thing about this is a lot of the students, including this mutant Hellion, he's like a powerful telekinetic mutant. Him and Spider-Man snark back to each other so much. It's absolutely beautiful, because Hellion gives, but Spider-Man gives as good as he gets. And if there's one superpower that Spider-Man does have, it's sarcasm.
Absolutely.
I'm going to show you something beautiful. Everyone screaming for mercy. You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
Yes, there are no strings on Ultron, because right now we're talking about Marvel's The Avengers Age of Ultron Prelude trade paperback. This is an advanced solicitation, written by Will Corona Pilgrim, Roy Thomas, Kurt Busiek, and Brian Michael Bendis, penciled by Joe Bennett, John Buscema, George Perez, and Brian Hitch. The Avengers make their explosive return to the big screen this spring, and we've got everything you need to prepare right here. First, relive the historic first meeting between Marvel's mightiest heroes as Loki's plot to gain ultimate powers sparks a worldwide manhunt, a vicious battle against the invading Chitauri in the heart of New York City, and the founding of the mighty Avengers. Next, thrill to an all-new Infinite-style adventure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What world-shaking threats have the Avengers battled since their last film, and can anything prepare them for the looming peril of the mad mechanoid known as Ultron? Plus, thrill to classic adventures such as Ultron manipulates the Vision, conquers a nation, and battles the Avengers. Collecting Marvel's The Avengers number 1 and 2, Avengers Cinematic Infinite Comic number 1, Avengers 1963 number 57 and 58, Avengers 1998 number 22, and Avengers 2010 number 12.1. This is 184 pages. It is $16.99. This is going to be awesome.
Yes.
It just is. This is going to be absolutely amazing.
Well, I mean, first of all, they've got the when you look at they've got the original, like the movie comic, they've got their Infinite comic, which is basically Marvel's anything Marvel Infinite comic is a digital comic. So you when you read it on like a tablet, you have to read in turn it to the side so you read it in the widescreen landscape like that. You know, they've got like the original Ultron Vision story from, I think that's the original Ultron Avengers 57. I'm just gonna, while I keep rambling, I'm gonna search for that quick. But they have, it's the original appearance of the Vision is Avengers 57 from 1963. But they have one of my all-time favorite Avengers comics written. It's Kurt Busiek, by the way, art by it's George something. It's
George Perez.
That's it. Thank you. I just blanked. I was like, oh god, the Alzheimer's is setting in. Avengers 22 from the post-Hero Reborn series is Ultron had invaded this country called Selenia and basically slaughtered everybody because he wanted a base of operations. And they have this awesome scene where he's got like the Wasp and the Grim Reaper and Wonder Man and Hank Pym strapped up on a wall, and he's going to copy their brains and use them to make his new mechanoid people. And the Avengers bust through the wall, and there's Thor, hammer in hand, pissed off. Ultron, we would have woods with thee. I want to hear Chris Hemsworth say that in the movie, man. I need that. So I am definitely going to be picking this up. I mean, I'm not so rich that I could have the original Avengers 57 and 58, but
true.
I got no problem picking this up.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's going to be amazing, and I'm trying to find a release date for it. Let me see here. According to Amazon, let's see. Is it already out? No, pre-order, add to cart. Title will be released March. Not really St. Patrick's Day. It will be. Yeah, March 17th is when this will be out, which is actually kind of cool because it is like 3 weeks before the film actually comes out, because the film is April 1st, right?
May 1st.
Oh, May 1st. So it's a couple months. Okay, so it's 2 months. I'm sorry. I don't know. So, all right,
definitely
there you go,
looking forward to this one.
Absolutely. It's it's really going to be interesting to see what's in this, because adventures between the two films, I mean, that's going to be kind of cool to see with the Avengers, because we left off with that film at the end of the original Avengers film with, they're going to go do their own thing. They're going to scatter to the four corners of the globe. So it's going to be awesome. All right, folks. Let's see. Next one we're going to talk about is actually going to be Hawkeye versus Deadpool trade paperback. Written by Jerry Duggan, penciled by Matteo Lolli, and the cover is by James Herron. Once upon a time, champions emerged to fight the evil plaguing humanity. They fought for all that was good in the world. They were kind, generous, and self-sacrificing. They were heroes. These are not those heroes. What do Hawkeye and Deadpool have in common? It's Halloween in Brooklyn, and a S.H.I.E.L.D. espionage mystery has both heroes racing the clock. But things aren't what they seem. Why are the bad guys dressed as good guys? And what does the Black Cat have to do with it? Marvel's most beloved and simultaneously annoying duo is on the case. But with villains masquerading as heroes, who can Deadpool and Hawkeye trust? And no, it's not one another. As the baddest brawlers in Brooklyn tear up the town, will Deadpool and Hawkeye kill each other before they figure it out? Collecting Hawkeye vs. Deadpool number 0-4. This is a $16.99 trade paperback. It's got 112 pages in it. Since it's not Hawkeye's day off, I might actually pick this up.
You gotta let that go, Mike.
Nuh-uh. Never. There are certain things with the Marvel Universe that I will never let go. I'm not into reading Hawkeye's adventures on his days off. And I still think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a farce because they basically ruined the emotion of Coulson dying. Okay, then.
Yeah,
now
here's a spoiler for you. Uncle Ben is dead.
Yeah, but Uncle Ben's been dead for 70 years.
And you have to let that go. Anyway, this was an absolute joy. This is another Marvel miniseries that I had an absolute ball reading. It's the whole idea, and they mentioned this in the Avengers Assemble cartoon, is like Hawkeye, for as much as people look at him, they just see an archer who's kind of a slob. That's part of his shtick. Like he is a slob, don't get me wrong, but he uses that, he lets everyone underestimate him so he can take his shot. Right. And it's the merc with a mouth, the regenerating degenerate, the crimson comedian. It's if there were ever two more perfectly mismatched characters in the Marvel universe to have an adventure of, I have yet to find them. And the whole thing is like they at one point they end up switching weapons, and Hawkeye is flying around with like this jetpack weapons platform that Deadpool cobbled together, and Deadpool gets to steal like Hawkeye's sky cycle, and they go off into battle like that. And it's more so Black Cat. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't read it, but more so Black Cat, she's just really annoyed with the heroes for disrupting her operation versus something actually happening.
Yeah. I wish we had a current Black Cat series. I really do. I love that character. Now, Hawkeye and Deadpool, the first trade paperback here for this 0-4, I assume this was a miniseries, right?
Yeah.
This isn't a current ongoing.
No.
Okay, yeah. This is what I want them to do with Hawkeye and Rocket. This is exactly the type of, just 4 or 5 issues, put them together, see what kind of damage they can do. That would be hilarious.
No, that's exactly what it is.
Absolutely. All right, folks. I think that's going to do it for us here in the February solicitations. As I mentioned, some of them are advanced solicitations. I've tried to find the dates for everybody as best I can. The Hawkeye vs. Deadpool is coming out St. Patrick's Day. The Avengers thing is also coming out St. Patrick's Day 2015. That's going to do it for us. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll come back and give everyone's contact information where you can find JT, the Weird Science guys, Nicole, and Jeremy Fein as well on Twitter. So I guess we'll see you next month for the March solicitations. See you then, folks.
Say, Jarvis, is it that time?
The house party protocol, sir?
Correct.
All right, folks, there you have it. All of the stuff we want you to be checking out in February 2015 here on the Pullbags Profiling Previews. I have been TF2 Mike. You can find me on Twitter at TF2 Mike. You can follow at GeekCast Radio on Twitter, as well as over on Facebook, the GeekCast Radio Network, and our website, geekcastradio.com. For the other hosts, you can find at Beatles Diva on Twitter for Nicole. That's Beatles like the band, not the bug. At Weird Science DC is Jim's Twitter. At Eric L. Shea is Eric's. At JT from Saskatoon is JT's. And at Hunnicoutcast is Jeremy's. Thank you once again, everyone, for being patient with us, and with me specifically, with this new type of episode here in the Pull Bag. We're having a lot of fun doing these, as you can tell in the records. It's just been amazing. I don't know why I didn't start doing these things year one of the Pull Bag, but it's been awesome. So we will catch you next time. Make your great escape into comics.
You've just heard the latest episode of the Pull Bag, the GCRN's comic review and discussion podcast. There are several ways to get in touch with us and leave feedback for the show. You can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. You can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line, 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you are leaving the message for, and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching GeekCast Radio Network. Send us an email feedback at geekcastradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at GeekCast Radio. So until next time, make your great escape into comics and unleash the geek in you.